Challengers Quanell X and Big Angry Adams, ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
My question is, if we give a woman the right to opt out of motherhood, should we also give a man the right to opt out of fatherhood and 18 years of child support?
I agree. You don't agree?
No, I don't know.
But if a mom walks into an abortion clinic and says, you know what, I'm not feeling this, and gets an abortion, the dad has no say. How come this mom can't? Let's just say it's a one-night stand, just hypothetical, and the mom comes back to the dad and is like, hey, I'm pregnant. Why can't he opt out if she was able to say, hey, I don't want this baby? It's a double standard.
Well, he could obviously sign his rights away, but he cannot physically make
he can't sign his rights away because he has to pay child support.
I mean,
he is legally bound by child support.
Honest, that's just the way it is.
I know, but do you think it's right?
You can't tell a woman to have an abortion. Like, that's it.
I know, but do you think it's right that a mom can say, I don't want this baby, but a dad never can?
I mean, I just think that's just the way it is.
But do you think it's right? Yes or no?
I
don't think it's right. I think the whole system's
We spend so much time talking about a woman's choice.
Right, but the man doesn't have one.
But my only point is, what reproductive rights does a man have?
None.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
You know, I think it's interesting hypothetical, Quanell, in that video, but I also think it's a bit nonsense, right? And if you limit it to the one-night stand issue and the woman's ability to choose, which of course it doesn't exist in Texas anymore and doesn't exist in a number of conservative-leaning states that have either completely outlawed access to abortion or all but outlawed access to abortion, which I disagree with, right? Because I think that while I personally am not a fan of abortion, I think the reason that I have a problem with it is because of my personal religious beliefs about the soul, and that I should not impose my religious beliefs on anyone else. And, you know, that's just me. I understand that people disagree with me, but we can pretend that it's not different for men and women, but it is. The woman has to carry the child. Now, I don't think women should get abortions. I think that the children are a blessing. But I also don't think the government should be telling. We saw just here in Houston last week, we saw an illegal abortion clinic lead to some arrests. I was born in '72, so I don't remember the pre-Roe v. Wade era, but obviously back alley abortions and deaths and permanent harm to women were frequent occurrences back then, and I think we're going to continue to see that. But for a man, right, you make the conscious decision to have sex. I mean, you could use a condom and it could break, I guess, but for the most part.
And she could take birth control.
Hold on. I agree, right? But when you father a child, the state has a vested interest in your participation, right? Because if the mother goes and gets benefits, the state's going to want that money back. So I don't see the government ever agreeing to this, right? But it does seem like it's unfair, but the rejoinder is, well, it's unfair that the woman has to carry the baby by herself. It's unfair that so many men feel that it's okay to have a child and not participate in that child's upbringing, that it's okay to just ghost women left and right, that there are different burdens here, and frankly, my view on it is if a man creates a child, he should be obligated not just his money, but he should be involved in that child's life.
Charles, it's wrong for any man to impregnate a woman, then pretend like the woman and the baby don't exist and
it
just
happens
get
every
ghosted.
day in this country.
But let me wake you up.
Okay.
There are women in this country every day who have children from men and want that child support paid on time, but give that father hell in seeing that child. There are mothers right now in this country who make sure that child support check come on time, but when that father wants to visit that child, spend time with that child, that mother will alienate that father from that child and keep that child from that man from excuse after excuse after excuse. Then the man, if he ain't got tens of thousands of dollars to go back into the family courthouse and pay to get access to his child, then guess what? Shit out of luck. Charles, what we asking for and what all men are asking for and what women should be asking for is fairness and equality on both ends.
Well, that's not the question
Not
at
the
hand,
double standard.
The question
at hand is, should men have also rights and reproductive rights like women do.
Okay.
Because we've talked about this, Charles, on this show.
All right, men can get a vasectomy.
But wait a minute, a woman
right.
can get her tubes tied.
Okay.
Okay. Same way he can wear a condom, she can take contraceptives.
Okay.
Charles, my issue here is,
I mean, you're ignoring the reality that the man,
Charles,
despite what all this gender nonsense would say, the man can't carry the baby.
Okay,
though.
so stop right there.
Okay.
So guess what? The man can't carry the baby. She makes a conscious decision to carry that baby. But if that man made it crystal clear to that woman that I don't want a child, I don't want to get you pregnant. If for some reason you get pregnant, then the child is yours.
For some reason.
If you decide,
I mean, you understand.
If some reason
you
you
gotta
get pregnant,
leave it in.
I didn't say somehow.
And you gotta orgasm.
I didn't say somehow.
You
I said
for
some reason. Charles,
like it just
at the
trickled
end of the
out
day,
of the air.
the question is, why is it the mother
It
can
just
opt
fell in
out,
there.
but the mom can opt out whenever she gets ready, but not the father?
Well, not in Texas. Not where we're
Charles,
at. You can't opt out.
Charles, when she gets pregnant, she go to an abortion clinic if she wants to.
No, she can't. Not here.
Wait a minute.
Not in Texas.
We're just saying in one country where it's legal.
Okay.
And then she can go and say, you know what? I want to abort this baby. The father can be standing right there with us and say, no, I want my child. Please, I keep my child.
Yeah.
My child's life is sacred. And they tell their father, you have no rights.
Well, the
Charles, that's wrong.
difference is it's
wrong.
the woman carrying the baby.
Is it not a double standard?
Oh, no, I think it's a
It's a double standard.
I think we like to pretend in this brave new world of ours that gender doesn't matter and it's all fluid, but the truth is that women are built different than men, and men are built different, and it's the woman that carries the baby, so she has bodily autonomy. And again, let me say this. I think
but the
soul
man's
is
body included her in getting pregnant. What autonomy does he have?
Well, maybe people should be having sex with people they have relationships with, and that
I totally agree.
You know,
I believe in a woman's right of choice.
But you brought
choose
up,
who you're going to lay down with.
You brought
Make
up
that conscious
these
decision.
women that are not allowing fathers to have access.
There's a lot of them, Charles.
No, hey, no, I've had women like that that I know.
For real.
It's awful. But the truth is, and whether how much you want to pretend over there, the truth is that the majority of women want the fathers to participate. The majority of women want the fathers to participate both financially and with their time, and that more often
Charles,
than not,
you're wrong.
it is men.
Majority
it is men
of
that
the
don't
women
pay, and it's men that don't show
Majority
up.
of the
and
women
you can lie to this
who are not
camera
with the
all
father,
day.
Charles. Nope. Majority of the women who are not with the father are divorcing the father. What they want first and foremost is a check for child support.
That's not
That's
true.
one. And then two, this is what they want. They want the father to have a relationship with that child based on special conditions put in place by the mother.
Absolutely
and
not
Charles,
true.
let me tell you something, brother. There are good fathers out here, man, who are busting their ass to take care of these children,
disagree.
provide for these children, and just because the mother don't like the fact who his new woman is, who his new girlfriend is, they tell him quick, you can't see the baby no more. You can't see the child no more. And then we'll tell that man, well, because you got remarried and I don't like your new wife, the child can't come to your house. So guess what? The child can't spend the night no more. Charles, it's happening all over America. And what we need is equality for both women and men, not a double standard.
So how do you
Let's
achieve
be honest
that?
here, Charles.
You want men to not have to pay child support or participate in a kid's life?
That's not the case.
Well, that was the question.
But let me ask you a question.
That's the question. No, that's the question that
video,
you're not answering.
In that video, she said that the woman said a man can terminate his rights. That's not true. Even if a man terminates his rights, he's still
But do you
legally
think
held
he should
responsible.
be
He's
able
still
to?
legally held responsible for child support.
Okay, you don't think he should
No
be?
man should terminate his rights. But guess what, though? I have seen men, brother, literally contemplate suicide, who are current on child support payments, literally contemplate suicide because the mother just don't like the new woman he with and he can't even see his damn child. Charles, who stands up for them, Charles? Who stands up for those men?
I think...
And Charles, let me say this to you, brother. We need a better system in place that protects both mothers and fathers.
You're not at all answering the question. Do you think men, when a woman has their baby, should just be able to say, yeah, I'm not going to participate and just walk away?
No,
yes or no?
I don't believe in that, no.
Okay, well, that was the question.
I don't believe
more
in that.
importantly,
But-
you have all these, no, hold on. You have all these anecdotes.
Charles,
No, hold on. You
there
have
should
all
not
these
be a double
anecdotes.
standard of
you
rights.
have all of these anecdotes.
But there should be equal rights for both
You
mothers
have
and
all
fathers,
these anecdotes.
Charles.
But the truth is, it's men that are abandoning their children. That's the big issue in America.
Charles,
and in some communities,
share something
it's
with you?
far more exacerbated.
There was a study.
And you want to pretend
Hold on.
it's not.
Wait a
Let's
minute.
look at, let's
There
talk
was a
about
study, Charles.
fathers in the black
Charles,
community not
there was a
participating.
scientific study that said single fathers who raise young boys, those young men are less likely to go into the criminal justice system than single mothers who raise single boys. So, Charles, why is it that when these boys become a certain age, we just don't send them to their fathers? Do you know how difficult it is for a woman to raise more than one young boy in a household by herself without a man?
A lot of it is because the fathers aren't participating. And
Charles,
you're lying to our viewers.
No, you are lying on fathers.
No, I'm not.
You're lying on fathers.
There are too many fathers that walk
want
away.
To participate. No, most fathers want to participate.
Simply not true.
Most fathers want to be involved. Most fathers want to spend time with their children. But the problem is, most fathers don't want to deal with the personal drama and the personal vindictiveness of a mother who's scorned.
You can always make an excuse not to raise your child. But the truth is, in America,
excuse not to do that, Charles.
The truth is, in America,
but women in this country have been given way too many rights over men. You got good fathers, Charles, that'll fight like hell for their children, Charles.
There are some great fathers.
And the only thing that they did wrong was find a new woman.
Okay. Again, your anecdotes don't hold up to the data. The data shows that in most one-parent households with a non-participatory parent, it is the mother raising the children alone.
In the black community, 7 out of 10 households.
In the black community,
7 out of 10 households.
It is far worse than every other community.
And welfare created that.
And, well, no, I think welfare contributed to it.
Welfare created it big time.
We have too many fathers that aren't participating. You're pissing and moaning, attacking mothers, but
I'm
you're
not
giving
attacking
fathers
mothers.
a complete
What
pass.
I'm attacking is
All
the
these
inequality.
I'm
attacking the double standard, Charles.
And roll.
I'm attacking the double standard, Charles. Look, man, there are a lot of men who want to be involved that are being called deadbeat dads, no good dads. And if you really investigated it, you would see those men are not deadbeat. They're not sorry men. It's just that they got to put up with so much bullshit from the mother to where they run away in depression.
There's always an excuse not to raise your child.
And I agree.
But
every father should be involved.
A real man climbs every hurdle. But the truth is that most men don't have hurdles.
But why should every man
just
have to climb the hurdles of a vindictive mother?
They don't.
But they do.
Most men,
tens of thousands of men.
The problem is,
of men do it every day.
One-parent households with non-participatory father, it's the dad that chose to roll.
Don't give up. Keep fighting, brothers.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
I get the spiritual moments.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late-night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
America is either you're gay or you're part of the Illuminati.
Yes.
That's how you make. If you don't have a gay rumor and you don't have Illuminati, you haven't made it yet.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys say in y'all community when a white guy makes it?
No, we say Epstein's Island. We're like, he was on the flight logs. No, but I think what happens is there is this like competition, and then sometimes now that there are these platforms, it kind of gets out.
Right.
And it just comes from, people wanting a little bit more.
But here's the thing, though, Schultz, is that 80% of the money that's in circulation was printed since 2020.
So there's a lot more money out right now.
So if they run out, they'll print more.
Yeah.
I'm not taking, see, you can't get mad at results you didn't get for work you didn't put in.
You're speaking logically, but people react off emotion, man. And I think sometimes emotionally, they're just trying to find a reason why they aren't where you are. Making it as a black dude in America.
In this round, here's Quanell X.
Charles, that was a very interesting discussion by Brother Shannon Sharp on his podcast platform, Club Shay Shay. And he was speaking with a comedian, and they were cracking the joke that some black men are saying in America that you cannot make it in America as a black male if you're not gay or part of the Illuminati. Now, let me put that in context. That, to some degree, is true in mainstream media and mainstream entertainment platforms. A lot of the mainstream media platforms in this country are not interested in strong, black, conscious male voices that are heterosexual. There are a lot of left-wing liberal media platforms that they want feministic, gay black men to really be on their platforms. Strong, black, conscious, loving, thinking black men that are heterosexual, they're shunned. Now, in the entertainment industry, it's the same thing. Now, in everyday life, I don't believe that. A black man in America can be whatever he desires to be in this country if he truly has enough faith, he's willing to make the ultimate sacrifices, and he's disciplined. Great self-discipline, strong, unshakable faith, and you're willing to make some sacrifices that are not popular in other people's lives, but you'll make them in your own. Nothing can really stop you from being successful. You're going to have obstacles, you're going to have impediments, but those three characteristics, if you can master those, you can sidestep them, overstep them, understep them, go around them, if not just crush them all together. So black men in America can absolutely be successful, but we cannot use crutches as excuses, whatever the social crutches may be, as excuses of why we're not being successful in America today. We can be successful, but we got to get rid of some of these excuses.
So I felt like Andrew Schultz made the point that the discussion was, and that was the comedian, he's an essayist.
I never watched him.
An interesting fellow, who I think he was making the point that is something people say when they're envious of other people's accomplishments, right? When a guy sees another guy that he, in his mind's eye, thinks is not as hardworking or not as charming or funny or charismatic, or who he just generally sees as less than, succeed in the media space, that he's got to say, oh, well, he's, performing, he's putting out, he's part of the Illuminati or what. And we do have tremendous gatekeeping in the media industry, right? When I had some people shopping me for some judge shows, I had some high-level meeting, Judge Judy type shows. And I've literally been told, we're not doing a lot of white male content right now, which, what do you say to that? Well, I can't change this, and I do think that we've seen far more of that type of discrimination in the last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, it is a sea change from decades or centuries of, but you see when post-COVID, the corporate hiring surge, straight white males were the only ones that weren't getting any jobs. In fact,
where are the straight black males getting them in the media?
Hold on. I'm talking about jobs generally. I'm not limiting it to this media. I just saw an interesting statistic that the New Yorker, the biggest publisher of fiction writing, has not published a straight white male in the New Yorker who was born after 1984, right? That we have just decided that it's being a cisgendered straight white male is somehow a bad thing in America.
I disagree with you. I agree and disagree.
And I'm not talking about people born into money. Obviously, people born into privilege are one thing.
But I agree and
Harvard,
disagree with
Yale, all those. As a black male applying, they just. In fact, I just saw new statistics.
Charles,
Scores way down here. Average is way down here.
God-fearing black men.
Asians and whites way up here.
Are not one in this country, Charles.
So I do not.
There's a war against all men in America that are God-fearing heterosexual males.
I disagree. I think the discrimination that's tolerated
Charles,
and allowed right now in America.
Y'all been suffering discrimination for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Black men live for 500.
It's been happening.
Well, on Fox Faceoff, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Faceoff.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
In today's Face-Off Up.
Before I finish this video, a little bit of backstory. This happened at Meadowwoods Elementary in Orlando, Florida at a kindergarten graduation. The woman that you saw spitting was upset that the black woman came and sat down by her man and just by her family in general. So this is how the rest of the video went. Y'all tell me what y'all think.
Yes, sir. There's a seat here.
Just leave her alone. She's stupid.
There's a seat here.
You can record all day.
There's a seat here. It's okay.
You see? It's not space.
Look, exactly. We're all sitting. It's all right.
But it's not space.
You're sitting, sir.
Did I give you permission?
You are right, but
okay, but can you move? Can you move, please?
Oh my God, no, I'm not moving.
I'm not giving you permission to record.
No,
so
I'm not moving. No, I'm not moving.
You have to tell me when you're recording. You're not even
No, I don't have to tell.
Kill me.
Wow. I think you spit on somebody, I don't even care what happened, right? I don't even care if that woman came and sat down in between her kids or did something obnoxious, which you can't really tell from the video what set off the altercation. But whether she spit on her just because she didn't want her sitting next to her because she was an awful person, like the white family were awful people, or she spit on her because the African-American woman sat in between a group taking a space that was taken by a kid that was up, or some justification. I don't care. You can't spit on people. That woman should have punched her in the face.
But the white guy, he assaulted the black woman too, by knocking the phone out of her hand.
Look,
then the white wife of his,
insane.
or the white woman of his, threatens to kill her, then spits on her. But I gotta say this.
All over seating.
But I gotta say
at
this.
a kid's event.
Sister, I hate that happened to you, beautiful black woman. But where in the hell were you raised? Because you're the first black woman I've ever seen let a white woman spit on her and you not beat the hell out that white girl.
Okay, why?
And ain't no what?
Why does that?
That's the first black woman I've ever seen let a white woman spit on her in her face and you not beat the dog shiznit out that white girl. What?
Okay, well, there was a man involved. Maybe she was worried about getting assaulted. Maybe the African-American woman was just a nice lady who sat down on an open bleacher
baby, them
and
days
got
over.
assaulted.
This ain't
Maybe she's
1940.
a grown-up
This
professional
ain't 1930.
woman. Maybe race
This
has
ain't
nothing to do with
1920.
it. Maybe she's a grown-up, grown-up person, and then maybe she went and actually reported it to the authorities.
That sister should have got up and knocked every teeth out that white woman's mouth that she could find.
You ever had somebody spit on you?
And then guess what?
You ever had somebody spit on you?
Look for a black man in the audience somewhere and say, this white man assaulted me too, and let's have a repeat of Mississippi.
Well,
we back on the river.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Like you're back on the river,
seen
Mississippi.
over and over again, women get assaulted by men, and men standing around watching and doing nothing.
And video recording.
It's a new era. But I applaud. I don't know what set all this off, but I applaud the African-American woman for responding like an adult. It was a children's event. It was
Sister,
a children's
you should have got
event.
up and beat the dog shiznit out that white girl.
Well, that white woman needs to go to jail. And the man should go to jail just for that stupid neck tattoo.
That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
Well, on Fox Face-Off, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Face-Off.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it. We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Greg, come on man, let's put a ride home.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and the Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first-round draft pick during the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal. Love, you're mine.
Hey, besties.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
Like it's a spiritual moment.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
It's time for today's Face-Off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-Off on Fox Soul starts right now.
Violent sports out there is the voice.
Not a sport.
It is a violent.
It's a sport.
It is a violent sport. You lose your head, your neck, because you're fighting for your possessions, your children, everything that you care about the most. Happens to go, you go head up with divorce. It's knuckle up season. So this is why I say, don't get married.
What?
The hell with it.
Stop.
Yeah, you get married. Iman and Tiana was one of my favorite couples. If they ain't make it, ain't nobody gonna make it. You are doomed.
Now that's how I feel about Remy and Papoose.
Yeah, Remy and Papoose. Come on,
I don't
man.
know if I want to go get married now.
It ain't even. They don't work. That's
true.
the conversation.
It don't work.
It don't work no more. It don't work.
You want to be like Neo?
No, that don't work either.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want 4 people to worry about all day, 4 birthdays, 4 Valentine's. That's too much. I ain't got enough sexual stamina for 4 women every night. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But what I'm saying is, marriage don't work no more, Kiki.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, we were watching a podcast where some young brothers and sisters were speaking about the state of marriage in America, and one young brother was stating that he felt that marriage is no longer worth it in this country because it's like almost a combat sport to be married today. And they use examples of entertainment figures and sports athletes to speak about them not having successful marriages. Charles, I would say this. Hollywood marriages rarely ever last long anyway, period. That's just the way it's been, because everybody sleeps with everybody in Hollywood. Athletes and entertainment figures don't make the best husbands or best wives. You see a lot of athletes have a better relationship to a football or a basketball than they have to their own wives and children. You see a lot of female athletes who are always on the road now, and they really can't be in the home to be the mother that those children need to be. Traditionally, fathers were athletes always on the road, not raising their children, and many male athletes will tell you the worst thing about being a professional athlete was that they were not at home there to raise their children. So I wouldn't use those examples as justification to say that marriage does not work, but I will say this. If you're a man, I'll take a man because I'm a man. If a woman was not raised by her father, that's a real red flag for you. As a man, it should be. If a woman spend more time in the club, at the parties and the hot spots than she spend in church or spend in the mosque, get the hell away from her. If a woman got multiple different baby daddies, take off running the other direction, brother, especially if she's a woman who have baby daddies that were failure and sorry men also themselves. There are some warning signs that men need to really look at before they decide to marry a female. Females should be very extremely careful in the men that they choose. I don't understand why any woman would be in a serious relationship with a man that don't have a job. He didn't have a job when you met him, and now you're in love with him, and y'all been together a year, 2 years, and he's still at home playing video games, and he ain't got a job. There's a female in my own family, college graduate, beautiful young woman, beautiful. The man she's been with for now several years ain't never had a job and sits at home every day and play video games. That is the state of the mindset of young people in this country, and marriage, unfortunately, in America is a dying institution, Charles.
Well, I think marriage is a dying institution for a number of reasons, but I mean, I think social media and the internet has changed the way people interact. It has become isolating. I think the fact that it is so expensive to purchase or even lease a home nowadays has many people staying in their parents' home for a far extended period of time, even when they have a job, right? Because we're just not compensating people enough. But I do see marriage as the foundational building block of American society, and I think it's important, and I think it's an important institution to defend. And when I say defend it, I do not think defending it is precluding people from engaging in it. I think gay marriage, wonderful thing. I think it's encouraged more marriages.
When did it become so wonderful?
I've always thought it was wonderful. I know you're a homophobe.
That ain't what I said. No. Don't put no false label on me.
Well, we all know.
Because earlier in the segment you said your Christian beliefs.
Okay.
So when did your Christian beliefs become popular with gay marriage?
Okay. Again, I am a longtime supporter for gay marriage.
You straight Nimrod.
I'm also a
you straight biblical Nimrod.
I'm also a longtime supporter of not imposing my religious beliefs on strangers. I know you don't get that. I also think that if you look at the New Testament, I think there is very little support in that book for the hatred that you commonly espouse. But let's stay on task.
Hatred, Charles.
Let's stay on task.
You sat in that same chair and said God was homophobic according to the Bible.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
I asked you, is God wrong on his positions on homosexuality and same-sex relations in the Bible?
No.
You said yes, he was.
No, I did not.
So
You've
wait a minute.
made that up.
So you sit here today and you say that when the Bible says, but when the Bible says that no man should be with another man.
Last week you were advocating
in marriage or relationships. Are you telling me that God wrong or is he right?
Okay. Last week you were
watered it down. You don't want to tell the truth.
No, last week you were advocating for the imposition of Sharia law here in these United States.
For child molesters.
Okay. No.
And rapists.
Generally speaking.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said child molesters and rapists.
Okay, so you just want your God for a certain
man,
you don't
look
want to
here.
impose them on everybody
For child
else?
molesters and rapists, yeah, let's have Sharia law.
Because I have heard you talk about the need to impose your religion on others, and I disagree with it.
I said those who claim the same faith I do.
Okay. The reality is that we need to promote marriage, that there are economic things that are destroying marriages. The fact that people are way too accessible on social media is leading to ending marriages. But just like anything, at the end of the day, it is mostly men that aren't committing to their marriages, men that are abandoning their marriages, men that are not committing to women, men that are not raising their children. And you talk about it from this perspective.
Women are not the same women for 20, 25, 30 years ago.
What do you mean?
Today's women got a whole new mindset, brother.
And what is that mindset?
You hear him saying stuff like things like this, like never before. I don't need no man. I'm an independent woman. I got my own money. I got my own education. I got my own house. I don't need no man. See, that kind of thinking, that's destroying marriage. You got women today saying this.
Well, right. Obviously, if there's a woman saying she doesn't
There's a lot of women saying it, Charles.
Okay, but there's a lot. There are far more men that aren't committing to relationships.
Then there's another segment of women saying this. I want a man, he got to be at least 6 foot tall, maybe 6'1".
So you can't get none of those women, can you?
I want a man. I want a man that's making at least 6 figures. Okay. Also, I want a man with no children, ain't never been divorced. So now she want a man at least 6 foot, a man that's at least making 6 figures, ain't got no children. Then she want a man that's not gay, and now she want a man. What?
Well, Quana,
but damn, Charles, she don't want no man. You know what she want? She want an idea.
I got it.
An idea that don't even exist in her own family because she can't find that same idea to her own family, Charles.
You're bitter and mad because you ain't 6 foot tall,
Charles.
And
I'm 5'11", brother.
Man, you 5'11".
I'm 5'11"
with inserts and
I'm
heels,
5'11".
baby.
And let me say this to you.
3-inch cowboy boot heels.
If we wasn't on TV, I would unzip in this coat so you can really see what I'm made of. He ain't nowhere close to what I am. But when I tell you, brothers and sisters, I'm a well put together black man.
I mean,
don't you? If I pull off this coat and let you see these thighs and let you see this upper body, let me tell you something.
I think we're hearing your insecurities.
You would wish you were me, homie. But Charles, marriage in America is dying. And I agree with you. Marriage is the very foundation of the success of a nation.
We should incentivize
but we've gotten away from it, Charles.
We should have more
Our young
tax
people don't even want
breaks
anymore.
for married couples. We should incentivize people with tax breaks for having children. We should do things to maintain the societal structure. We should encourage marriage. Right now, what you're sitting here is you're saying women, 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 women.
Charles.
But it's not women. It's almost
It's both,
exclusively
but
men.
a lot of men have walked away from the idea.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
Something I won't wish on nobody. I think that domestic violence is like real. And I was young. You think that like, I won't say that you think that it's love, but it's like when you go through it the first time, you may think like, oh my God, he loved me, he put his hands on me. But it's like after a while, you just learn that it's like, that is not okay.
Right.
And you have to get that person help. You have to. And it's something that like you should never tolerate. Like the first time, you gotta leave.
What would you say with someone in a similar situation? You went through it at a very young age. So what would you tell a young woman that's going through a very similar situation?
Leave. Because I think that like oftentimes you feel like it's love. Like you think like, oh, this person loves me. That's not love. And I think that like you should leave.
Was it hard for you to leave?
It was. It was hard for me to leave because again, I was young. I felt like it was love, and it's just like I tolerated it. And then after a while, like the last time was the last time. I was like, you know what, I can't do this no more. Like it's.
Did he beg you to come back?
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I was like, nah. But I got him help though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
He had to go to anger management classes, and he came back and was like, you know what, thank you for that. I needed that. Like I needed that help. Like if it wasn't for you doing what you did, like I wouldn't. You know, like it was able to help. It was able to help me grow.
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
So, Quanell, I'm going to be honest. That was a clip from Shannon Sharp's podcast, Club Shay Shay. I did not know who Young Miami was until the producer, until Matt suggested this clip to spur a conversation about domestic violence. But this young woman perfectly stated the reality of so many women of all ages who accept physical abuse and often look at themselves as, you know, what did I do to deserve it? Or, you know, they even when they don't do that math, that they stay and they put up with it, right? And you can tell from her comments, it sounds like, because if he was forced to do anger management, as she said, with her ex-boyfriend.
Got arrested.
He probably got arrested, and that was part of, it was probably a deferred agreement to get the case dismissed, usually is predicated on a batterer's intervention course or an anger management course. And hopefully it helped him process and recognize that there ain't never a justified reason for beating up a woman, especially a woman that you're in a romantic relationship with. But it really, who needs to be listening to those clip from Young Miami is the women. And obviously there are men who are victimized by domestic violence, but one, I'm sorry, call me sexist, but it's different. It's different when a woman hits a man, period, right? But it is almost always men hitting women, and it is women that often quietly endure it for their entire lives, and it's disgusting. We do have some cultures on this planet where it is absolutely seen as okay for men to beat women, and it's disgusting. And I am very, I have nothing but applause for Young Miami, because she basically was giving a lesson to her peers and all the listeners about how when a man beats a woman, she needs to leave. She doesn't need to look back. There's no fixing that guy. That's just a human stain.
Charles, if you really look at any real numbers, any real studies, any man that was raised by a strong, active father in his life, you rarely see that man going around as a physical abuser of women. But it's mostly men who have not been raised by their fathers, and because those men come from a single female parent household, they have a lot of emotional responses, emotional ways of thinking and reacting. And so when there's a disagreement in that relationship with the female, they take an emotional position and put their hands on that woman. Any young man that was raised by a strong, productive father will know how to treat a woman, how to love a woman, how to protect a woman, and that no man under any circumstances puts his hands on a woman. But I would tell brothers all the time, and I've always told brothers this: if you got to beat her, you don't need her, brother. And I tell women, ain't no love good if it ain't good to you. But I have met women in my lifetime, Charles, that really believe if a man put his hands on her, then it's because he loves her and she must have did something to make him do it. But I've also seen women, Charles, that have been in bad physical abusive relationships with men, get in a relationship with a good man who don't believe in putting his hands on women, and when they have an argument, she'll physically attack that man, the one that won't put his hands on her, because she reverberates back to that level of abuse and trauma that she's known, and she winds up becoming the abuser in a new relationship with a young man or older man, a man, period. But I've been a survivor of physical domestic violence, Charles. I've been physically assaulted by a female before. And the trauma that you go through because you don't understand what it is you did or what are you doing wrong. We were in the bed, Charles, and, we were being intimate. And that woman grabbed me in my throat like this. And that woman said, harder, harder. And I said, I'm trying to smack, harder, harder. Charles, I didn't know what to do. I was doing my very best, and I was doing my best to try to win a gold medal in the process. But that woman grabbed me and smacked me across my head because I was insufficient. Charles, I was the victim of physical violence also, Charles. And I just want you to know that it's a traumatic experience.
Yeah, I can tell you're trying to make a joke, but I do applaud you.
What joke?
I do applaud you.
Did I say it was a joke?
Acknowledging
Did I say it was
to
a
our
joke?
Audience that you're insufficient. I didn't expect you to come out with your insufficiency.
I'm not insufficient.
That's what you said. Your words.
No.
Your words.
I was involved with a woman that had a long body count.
What do they call it?
She had a body count from here to Georgia. And what was I supposed to do, Charles?
You don't want a short.
She had a body count from here to Georgia, Charles. What was I supposed to do, Charles?
Man. Okay, let's get back to this.
I did not know I should have tied a board to my back instead of falling in. Charles, I was a victim of abuse.
Before you reduce
this
to
victim shame.
Hold on.
You're sitting here in victim shame.
I'm sorry you're a short man.
You evil.
And let's get back to the serious topic. So when you said that usually it's the absence of a father that leads to violence, that's not true. I mean, you make up stuff, you do a good job at it, but typically when men grow up to be violent with their partners, excuse me, it's because they witnessed it in the home, whether it was their biological father or another man.
Get some water, because you're choking when you start lying. But go ahead on.
Okay.
You're going to pass out over there.
The truth is that usually when men grow up to be violent towards their partner, it is because they witnessed their father or another man in the home be violent towards their mother, right? That's the truth. And another number that people don't want to talk about, the one variable that increases the risk of physical violence in the home, both directed at the children and the mother, and sexual predator or sexual violence directed at the children is the presence of a stepfather or a boyfriend that cohabitates in the home. And because they obviously view the children as different, and some despise the children. And it goes back to, we were talking about families and the breakdown of marriages in this country. You know, really, this country would be a better place if our government did more to incentivize families staying together instead of incentivizing,
to celebrate
women
and reward traditional marriage.
You got to kick the man out of the home so you can get the food stamps. You got to kick the man out of the home to get the benefits, right? In fact, we should do more for couples to stay together, and we should do more for people that are raising their children in a two-parent household than we do for anyone else.
As an ex-police officer, let me ask you a question. How many times did you ever go to a domestic violence scene and she called the police because he was beating on her, but the minute you pull out the handcuffs, you become the enemy?
Oh, let me tell you something. Okay, on night shift in Houston in the 90s, in South Houston, you would do domestic calls from 9:45 when you came to work till midnight, and then it'd start to be drunk car accidents after that. I literally saw an officer, Eddie Martin, I saw he handcuffed the husband who was beating the woman. I remember the apartment. This happened in like 1996. I remember the 801 South Allen Genoa. I can tell you the address, the apartment complex. I can tell you. This woman picked up a broomstick, and while Officer Martin is handcuffing the husband that just beat her up, she called the police for us to come out here, right? She picks up a broomstick and starts beating Officer Martin. I had to take the broomstick away from her and put the handcuffs on her. I have seen so many, and see, they changed the law while I was a policeman. Used to be, if the victim said, no, I don't want him to go to jail, you couldn't even put him in jail. Or if she went down to the station and said, I want to drop charges, you had to drop charges. And in the 90s, while I was an officer, they shifted it to make the state the complainant, to take away from women the ability to drop the charge. So, I mean, look, it's very commonplace.
I've had a number of women, literally 4 or 5 a month, that have called my office. The man is currently in jail for beating the hell out of them.
And she wants the charge dropped.
And they want me to help them do everything under the sun to get those charges dropped. But yet they admit he was beating the hell out of them, Charles. Well, this is a sick mindset that's been produced in this country, man.
But really, what's the solution, right? I mean, we need to be more aggressive with the impermissibility of physical violence in the home, right? Directed between the man and the woman, right? But we also need to do so much more. And we always, oh, it's socialist, oh, it's this. You know, the right is always against it. But it should be something that the Republicans and the GOP celebrate. Any sort of directed benefit to encourage people to get married, to have children, to raise their children, that would be a far better expenditure of money, right, than right now our welfare system encourages women to kick the father out, encourages women to stay single,
but what about,
all because they can get more checks.
But what about a number of men who are the victims of domestic violence and have to suffer in silence because they believe nobody's going to believe them?
I'm going to be
because
honest.
They believe nobody's going to believe them.
Typically, there are some incredibly violent women, but it's
and a lot of men are afraid to tell it because it's not masculine, it's seen as feminine, and then they believe that law enforcement, the courts won't even believe them.
And oftentimes you do have that situation, but the truth is it's typically the men that are violent, and we can pretend it's not different. But if my wife were to slap me, it'd be probably because I deserved it. And I don't see it as domestic violence, right? There's a huge difference. We can pretend gender don't matter, but it does. And it's very different when a woman hits a man than when a man hits a woman.
She you several times before.
I probably deserved it.
I can tell the way you just said it.
And I probably deserve
whoops the hell out
every moment of it because I got a crazy mouth.
See, you got a mental health problem. I got to help you, brother.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late-night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. Not wondering anymore. Love, your mind.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Well, on Fox Faceoff, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Faceoff.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Faceoff. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul. That's it for the Face-Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, besties.
What is a bestie?
I like you.
She's fun.
It's about to be a good time.
She's always looking out for you.
Since you're my bestie, I will handle it for you.
She makes you think.
Here to uplift and empower.
She's always encouraging.
You are that girl.
Chelsea Edwards, your bestie in daytime.
Like it's a spiritual moment.
Chatting with Chelsea. New episodes weekdays at 5:30 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Greg, come on man, let's put a ride home.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
I'm Isaiah Carey, here to shake things up with the stories that hit hard and matter most. Here on The Factor, we cover news with grit and authenticity. We challenge the status quo and get down to real talk and bold discussions. Join us as we amplify the voices that disrupt, inspire, and lead the charge for change. Your story is power, and we're here to unleash it.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored. New episodes weeknights at 10 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Hey, it's your girl Carolina Sanchez, and the Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
I was a quarterback at Hardaway High School. College first round draft pick. During the football season, I would stop eating. But I didn't know I was depressed. We didn't have any education behind what mental health was. I started to learn it starts here first. If this is together, I'll be better as a father and as a husband. We have to redefine what being a strong man is and heal, love your mind.
Well, on Fox Faceoff, we tell the raw, unadulterated truth.
Fox Soul Faceoff.
We are given the platform here with no fear.
Always comes out swinging.
We should be saying, hey, Stop shooting and killing people.
Nothing held back.
They wanted black hip-hop moguls and artists to continue the feud.
No punches pulled.
And shut the hell up.
You interrupt me all the time.
Tune into the show where opinions collide. Fox Soul Face-Off. New episodes weeknights at 9 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Tonight on The Factor, the future of education in Texas. State representatives debate on passing what's being described as the biggest so-called school voucher scheme in the country.
She ran him and hit me and stabbed him with a fork. Yes. I don't know whose kid that is. Did I get her?
Meantime, a debate on social media. What would you do if a child on a plane was bothering you, even stabbing you with a fork like this girl? A passenger was clearly fed up. It's part of our Hot Topics coming your way tonight.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
Welcome and thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored tonight. We're covering the Texas Capitol and a big item on the agenda. Senate